Hello folks, this is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers. This video could have very easily wound up on the Life series, but I'm going to do this one on Good Day, Good Prayers and not put it on the Life series. This particular video is probably going to make some people real mad. I'm sorry if it makes you mad. I'm not telling you what I'm going to tell you to make you mad. I'm going to tell you because of the fact that history has been very unkind to the people of the world. Unfortunately, many things that we have been told have been nothing but lies. For over 150 years, maybe even a little longer than that, the deep state, the globalists, the cabals, whatever you want to call them, they've controlled the world. Now in 1913, when the central banking system came into the United States, it also went into essentially most, if not all, of the countries around the world. Now, there were a few countries that said no to it, and many of those parts of the world faced an awful lot of hardship because of it. One of the nations that said no, by the way, was Russia. They have become the enemy of the world ever since because of the fact that the globalists are so angry with Russia, and particularly Putin, because he will not accept the central bank. The central bank is essentially bad news. They control everything. And they controlled World War II, just like they have controlled all of the wars in the time that they have been in charge. What they do is they pay the setup of the war on both sides of the war, and once they've paid for it, at the end of the war, they collect up everything that's left, and they might pay millions and millions of dollars out to get the war started. But when they collect, they're collecting billions and billions of dollars, and that's why there's war. Really, there's no other reason. Most human beings are smart enough to realize that they don't want to go to war. So it takes a group of bankers who really don't care about the people, and they're the ones then that get the war started. They fund them, they go ahead and make sure it ends the way they want it to. It has to be by their narrative. Well, the Second World War is the one we're talking about today. I was looking at a story about John Banner, the one who played Sergeant Schultz in the show Hogan's Heroes. And he lost most of his family in the Second World War. And so it was very ironic that even though he fought for the Allies, he wound up becoming a sergeant of the Nazi Germany in the show Hogan's Heroes. And he said he would do it as long as the character that he portrayed looked like a complete idiot. And so that's how it happened. William Klemperer, the one who played Colonel Klink in the show, said the same thing. He would be willing to play that part because he seemed to have the persona that could play that kind of a part. But he said that in order to do it, Klink had to be a complete idiot. And so the war was only over by about 20 years when Hogan's Heroes was on the air. And a lot of people had a lot of unsettled feelings still from the war. And so all of the people that were Germans in that show were portrayed as idiots, which I thought was very interesting, because I don't believe that the Germans were idiots. And I'm going to give you some backstory and tell you what I believe. And it's not going to make a lot of people happy, but it is what it is. We were the Allies were given the Victory Day, and we were supposed to have won the war. However, the person who died in the cave, the two people actually, because Eva Braun was with Hitler. Anyway, they both were supposed to have died in the cave. They didn't die. That was body doubles, and they actually went to Honduras in South America. Now, I'm going to tell you as the story goes, as the sworn affidavits go and so on. What's very interesting is the fact that in 1975 is when Hitler was actually killed in a car accident. Eva Braun took her children and left South America, went to United States for a while, and then on to Europe. Now, something that I thought was very interesting, and as the story goes, and we will know the truth behind the facts, and we will know the truth behind the story, and find out how close to facts this really is. One of her daughters, they had 4 daughters, one of them was the mother of a man by the name of Barack Obama. One of them became a prime minister in England. Her last name was May. And there were 2 other daughters. One of them became the prime minister, or whatever they call it in Germany, a woman by the name of Merkel. And the other one was, I believe it was a queen, but I forget what nation. It seems like Norway, but I may be incorrect. Anyway, the Nazi scientists were a part of Operation Paperclip here in the United States, working with the American scientists. And the reason is that Nazi Germany had some information that needed to be looked at, and someday we'll talk about some of that information. But it was a part of Operation Paperclip. They worked on teleporting, they worked on time travel, they worked on a lot of different kinds of things of that nature. And one of the things that happened was that some of those scientists, from the way the story goes, and I kind of believe it because of the names of the people that were involved, but they started NASA. Now, NASA, if you take a look at the word, the only thing that is missing in the word NASA to turn the letters around and turn it into the word Satan is the letter T. And they always say T minus 10, T minus 8, T minus 7, T minus 6, and so on. And so it kind of appears as though NASA may be a satanic organization, spending money on things they haven't really done, doing things that they haven't really done. And yet through the process of NASA, the globalists were able to get a setup on Mars as well as on the moon, and they were able to control much of the galactic situation on Earth through that. However, there were some things that changed. Now, in a later video, we'll talk about some of these things. But for today, I want to tell you to have a good day, and you start out to have a good day with good prayers, and if they reach the throne of God, well, you're bound to have a good day, aren't you? So with that said, good day.